right, Ravens, man. You've got to be kidding me, right? You've got to be kidding me. 299 rushing yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who had the 6th overall run defense in the National Football League in a playoff game. Man, you guys already know it's Purple Shades time. So welcome in to a post-game edition, playoff edition of Ravens Reports, man. It's your guy Noah here with For the Flock, bringing you guys our top 5 takeaways from today's game. Huge victory for the Baltimore Ravens. Let's get into the takeaways. At number 1, it felt like Lamar Jackson was so free, so loose. It felt like all the narratives about Lamar Jackson in the postseason, playing antsy, living up to his regular season self. 2 NFL MVPs, probably a third, but for some reason the playoffs just hasn't played his best football. But not only him, it felt like the offense at times would have drops and penalties and just wouldn't show up as a team. But how about Lamar Jackson going 16 of 21 for 175 passing yards, 132 quarterback rating, and then adding 81 yards on the ground as well. That's why he's the best quarterback in the National Football League right now. It's not even close. The fact that he was able to generate 175 yards on only 16 completions tells you everything you need to know. The Ravens practically stopped throwing the football in the second half. Definitely the fourth quarter, because they had a big lead. They were trying to run out the clock. But if the Ravens would have stayed aggressive, or if they needed to throw the ball more, Lamar Jackson averaging 8.3 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, and 132 passer rating would have done even more damage. It just felt like the postseason nerves. It just felt like that was gone, that was lifted. Lamar Jackson playing so loose, so free, but also focused and motivated, hungry, man. He's not messing around with saying, no, like, we're on a mission, we got a job to do. At number 2, speaking of a guy that had a job to do, how about our guy Derrick Henry? 26 carries, 186 rushing yards. Are you kidding me, man? This is absurd. All right, 7.2 yards per rush. If that would have happened on, I've seen that on stat lines with guys that have like 5 rushes and they broke a big one, right? But to have 26 carries and still average 7.2 yards per rush and then add 2 touchdowns on the ground as well, that's absurd. So Lamar gets 2 passing touchdowns. Derrick Henry gets 2 rushing touchdowns. They combine so between Lamar's rushing and passing and Henry's rushing, they combined for 442 total yards of offense and 4 touchdowns. Talk about a beautiful pairing, a perfect match for each other. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry is what we just always needed to see, right? And I love what Derrick Henry was doing with the different types of runs, the options, obviously like the RPO stuff. But then how about Derrick Henry taking that direct snap, faking like a pitch or handoff to Lamar, who was coming in motion, and then ripping off that big run. Henry also had a 44-yard touchdown run, but it was a bunch of like 10-yard carries, 9-yard carries, 20, 15, just like these back-breaking runs that just take the air out of a defense. And the fact, like, check this stat out, man. The Ravens doubled the Steelers' time of possession. The Ravens had over 39 minutes of time of possession to the Steelers' 20. That's just unheard of. The Ravens dominated the Pittsburgh Steelers in every facet of the game today.
Shout out to Trav with the game plan. And Derrick. Can't take nothing away from Derrick, man. He's just that guy. But off the line, got great penetration, kept blocking those guys. Great defensive front. Great linebackers, but our guys were just hungry. We know what's at stake for us, and they got it done.
We're also turnover free, which leads me to my next point at number 3. Shout out to the coaching staff. John Harbaugh had these guys ready, man. I don't know if you guys saw it after the game. John Harbaugh was hyping up the crowd. He was locked in and focused. Had our boys ready to play football tonight. Came out with a huge victory in a must-have game, win or go home at the bank, ready to go play the Bills, the Texans, whoever. I don't care who it is, man. Bring them on, baby. Line it up. The Ravens will knock them down. Baltimore already blew out the Buffalo Bills 35-10 and the Texans 31-2 this season. And against the Bills, the Ravens weren't even close to playing their best football yet, defense or offense. So I think the Ravens are well equipped to go on a Super Bowl run this year. You guys know I've been saying that all season, even with the slow start and some of the stuff that happened earlier in the year. We just felt like this team had it in them. How about Derrick Henry saying that, hey, I haven't been in the AFC Championship in 5 years. Let's go. And he backed those words up with this play with 186 yards and 2 touchdowns of production. And along with the coaching staff, it wasn't just John Harbaugh. Shout out to Zach Orr. Shout out to Todd Monken. These guys were on fire with their play calling tonight. And then the John Harbaugh going for it on 4th down on their own 40 with a 2-possession lead. That was gutsy, but John Harbaugh got it done. And he had faith in his guys. Rightfully so. They picked it up, and then the Ravens chewed off some more clock there. Shout out to John Harbaugh and all the coaching staff. I thought they had an excellent game plan that was just very complimentary of each other. It felt like, it wasn't like the defense was trying to do their own thing and their offense was trying to do their own thing. It's like it was well coordinated to where the offense was able to hold the ball, and then wear out the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and then the Ravens defense was able to stay fresh, and then the aggressiveness to go for it. Man, I just thought the coaching staff did an excellent job having these boys ready to play football. And at number 4, I want to talk about how everyone stepped up in absence of Zay Flowers, because it was a team effort. I mean, talk about Isaiah Likely. This dude's clutch. Isaiah Likely shows up in big-time moments. You saw it in the playoffs last year. Had a big touchdown against the Texans. You saw it in Week 1 against the Chiefs. Over 100 yards in that primetime NFL season opener. And then Isaiah Likely, without Zay Flowers in the lineup tonight, goes 3 catches for 53 yards, averaging 17.7 yards a pop. Mark Andrews, 2 catches for 27 yards. Nelly gets a big catch for 25 yards. Bateman was so clutch in 2 big moments. Only 2 targets on the night, but they were huge targets. 3rd down conversion against Joey Porter Jr. to keep the chains moving, ended up scoring on that drive. And then the touchdown. Talk about getting off to a hot start. Your first possession, a 90-yard drive, you cap it off with a touchdown reception. That'll get you going. That'll work. That'll knock off the rust and knock off some of the Lamar is tight and can't play in the playoff stuff, man. Shout out to all the receivers. And then Tylan Wallace had a 1 catch for 21 yards, and it was a huge catch because I think we were 2nd and 20 or something like that, 2nd and 25, and he picked it up. It was absurd. Tylan Wallace kept his feet churning, powered forward for the first down, and then Anthony Miller, 3 catches for 12 yards as well. I was shocked to even see Anthony Miller on the field playing. Justice Hill had a few grabs as well. But at number 5, let's talk about this defense, man. I know we gave up a couple of big plays through the air, but the fact that you're able to hold the Steelers to 14 points whenever they have to pull out all the stops, man, it's win or go home. It's playoff football, and you held the Steelers to 14 points without any turnovers, mind you. That was an excellent job by the defense. Brandon Stevens obviously got beat by George Pickens down the sideline, and again, I think it was for the touchdown by Van Jefferson. So Stevens was obviously the biggest concern for a lot of fans heading into the game, and it kind of came to fruition where he was the guy that gave up the biggest plays. But despite those big plays, I mean, that was all of the Steelers' offense. If you take away those 2 catches, they didn't have anything going for them. So the Ravens just dominated a really good defense, and the defense held the Steelers to 14 points. Talk about some confidence moving forward into whoever else you play. That'll do it. I don't know if you guys saw Roquan Smith firing the guys up before the game. If you saw the clip, this is a clean Christian channel. I can't play the clip because it's got a lot of derogatory language in there. But Roquan Smith was fired up and got the guys ready to play football. Darius Washington, who's 5'8", 170 pounds, popping guys, like 6'5", 250-pound tight ends. He's just stopping in their tracks because he plays with such tenacity. He's been a huge part. Richard Sherman even put that on X. He said, man, this is a huge part of the turnaround as Darius Washington. So shout out to this football team getting the job done in the postseason. It feels like this team has everything they want in front of them. I 100% believe this team can go win a Super Bowl. I've been saying that since the beginning of the year. Even when the Ravens were having their struggles, they were able to turn it around because the talent was there, the coaching staff, the persistence was all there. And the Ravens are playing their best football. They're hot in the middle of the postseason, heading into the divisional round. I don't care if it's Buffalo. I don't care if it's Houston. Bring it on, baby. Line it up. We'll have a lot more content for you guys here soon, previewing those upcoming playoff games and much more. But I just wanted to hop on here real quick and just celebrate this win with you guys. Smash the like button for this Ravens victory. And if you got any value out of today's content, I love you guys. I appreciate y'all, and we'll see you in the next video.
Ray, when he wasn't looking, he ran me over.